This is a 4-story storage area. There's one level above us and 2 levels below us. You can see it's a world-class collection of archaeological and ethnographic materials from around the world. And we move into the room that has the Kish group.
These eyes intrigue me because I saw a number of those figurines with the eyes accomplished with the 2 slits.
John Oates called them the coffee bean eyes. Sometimes.
These are from Kish?
These are from Kish. Yeah, this is from a much later. I mean, the materials we're looking at the other aisle were 3rd millennium BC. This is 1st millennium AD.
Okay, so
just a few thousand years later.
The site of Kish is located in modern-day Iraq, in the area of the world that archaeologists call Mesopotamia. The site of Kish is such an important early urban center. You can trace a direct line, really, from all of the institutions in our modern world back to the inventions that were made in ancient Mesopotamia, some of which were made, really, it would seem, for the first time at the site of Kish.
Earliest evidence for wheel transportation from anywhere in the world is found at Kish from burials. From these chariot burials, these cart burials going back to the early dynastic. Karen and I take different positions on this, and actually we could do the tiebreaker here. Are these toys, or are these votive offerings? Are these something, because they're found typically in temples and altars and and houses. Yeah. Where do you fall on this debate?
Don't ask me that.
The site of Kish basically lay covered by the sands from sometime around 1000 AD until the 1920s, when the Field Museum in Oxford, in a joint expedition that lasted 10 years, conducted extensive and intensive excavation over a major portion of the site. As was the practice in the 1920s and the 1930s in archaeology, the collection, the materials, the artifacts that came out of the ground at Kish were split up. The museum in Baghdad retained fully half of the collection, plus any one-of-a-kind pieces, but the other half was actually exported. A quarter of the entire collection went to Oxford, and the other half of the half came to the Field Museum here in Chicago.
What today represents, I think, is the first time since 1928 that we've actually had members of the Field and the Ashmolean and the Iraq Museum in a room talking about Kish. Donny's never seen the collection here before. And I mean, so this is, really just, it's a great chance to explore. I just came back, I was in Oxford for a month photographing the collection there, and there's, I swear, it probably attaches to this side or this side. And so you had sort of coherent cultural loci being taken and split up from one grave. The pots would have gone here and the skeletons would have gone to Oxford. When we actually start to view this and, how their collection complements ours, we've got cards that were filled up by the excavators. We have copies there and they have copies here. And when we start to find out that while our card might say a pot, and that's it, and a card in the Ashmolean goes into great detail about that pot and where it was found and what it's made of and everything else, it fills a gap in ours. And God knows when we get to Baghdad.
There are always questions, of course, but the beauty of Mesopotamian civilization is that they wrote everything. We do have a lot of answers for a lot of our questions. We know whom their deities were, and we know their buildings and how they worshipped there, and even the offerings. We know what they offered for these gods. But we don't know that much about their daily life, which is very important to know how these people actually built this huge civilization.
This excavation was conducted in ways that we would never do it today, and yet just to ignore this collection, like it's been ignored, not ignored, but just not, hasn't received its due treatment, that's just to sort of compound the evil of the excavation that was done.
What's missing is a full site report, a full reckoning of the lifeways of the people that lived there. And so what we're actively searching for now is additional funding to produce the site report for the site of Kish.
How about the site report? Would this really be of interest and valuable from your perspective in Iraq?
Of course. I believe this documentation of the whole 3 will give a good chance for scholars to put it all together.
It's good to have this collection here for researchers, but nothing will replace the public seeing the real things. And what we intend to do is actually produce a catalog. We're going to produce it bilingually, English and Arabic. And that's going to be not only in a print version, but also, and what I think will be more exciting, in an online web version. And so you'll be able to start off with these wonderful aerial photos we have taken from RAF blimps over the site and sort of click down to the level of an individual trench or an individual grave and see the objects as they were found together in these wonderful archival photographs we have from the 20s and 30s.
Yeah. This is one of these 1st millennium AD, these magical bowls or the incantation bowls. And when they're found like this. This was a spell to sort of get rid of, expunge or trap an evil spirit.
The idea is not only the objects. The idea is a collaborative work between museums for the benefit of all the people. People in Chicago in the United States, people in Baghdad in Iraq, to see the beauty of these pieces.
Originally we thought we had about 11,000 objects in the Field Museum's collection. Turns out we had 32,000 objects.
Wow.
Because the word of the importance of the city has not been fully disseminated, it's still sort of buried underneath the sand. What we need now is the funding to take us the rest of the way. And it's only through further funding, it's only through the further work in the production of the site report that we'll be able to really trump the importance of the city and bring it back to the level that it once held.